I don't give a moon, y'all. It's my prerogative to live how I live, to feel how I feel. You know what? Good evening, friends. Thank you for listening to Crazy Conversation with Miss Kim on IntellectualRadio.com. I hope that everyone is having an amazing start to their work or school week. It has been a crazy day. I feel like today I did work on my job. Mark and Meta play too much. I finished almost all my cases today. After today, we need a Meta support group because I cried when Facebook crashed today. So I just want to put it out there. I was heartbroken. So before we dive into today's conversation, I would love to say happy birthday to my Gma, Sandra Lomax. Also, happy birthday to my beautiful cousin, Erica Watkins. That's my Sally. And happy heavenly birthday to my cousin, Eric Watkins, which is Erica's twin. Rest up, cousin. We love you and we miss you so much. Today's conversation with Miss Kim. Done wrong for doing right. Today, we are having a conversation with two brothers that were wrongfully convicted as a child, beat and tortured after serving 25 years before the case was overturned. They are motivational speakers for others facing similar issues. Now being released, they are the owners of their own clothing apparel line, New Vision Clothing Apparel. My executive producer and I would love to introduce to you Mr. Sean Tyler and Reginald Henderson. Thank you guys for being here with Miss Kim today.
Thank you, Miss Kim. Thank you.
And so let's have our conversation, Miss Kim, all in y'all business. So I'm going to start with a couple questions and I'm going to let you enlighten our wonderful listeners. What made you want to have a crazy conversation with Miss Kim? That's not a good icebreaker.
No. It's my sister crazy about you for one. She ain't only crazy Kim. So crazy Keisha like crazy Kim. But she's familiar with what we've been doing since being home as far as trying to get the case basically heard. Although we've been overturned, we've been exonerated, we still fighting to receive a certificate of innocence, which helps to clear the backgrounds of us, enable us to just be regular citizens, and enable us to be righted for the wrong in which you've done. So she felt like it was no better platform than yours, So I looked at you and I said, well, you know what? Look like she can, look like she gonna give you a fair shake. Everybody else kind of cut you off and throw their own stuff, but with you, looked like you was gonna give a fair spin. So I was all for it. So that was my reason.
Well, I appreciate that, and I hope and pray that my wife and I were helpful during our interviewing and conversations. It's a lot. I have to be in your business. You got to be in mine. So, at this point, we family anyway. We just came in and got related again, So again, I am so honored to have this conversation with you both. And the thing with the conversation, it was hard for me. It was hard for me when I had to study the accusations, the questioning, the things you gave me, the things I read in the media, and it was just so hard. Can you please tell me what are some of the things that you would like to teach others about this experience, and just tell them a little bit about what you went through and what age you were when you went through this traumatic experience?
I was 18. My brother Sean, he was 17. So I'll let him begin the story. It starts with the sickened conspiracy of how the police chased him down. So
And I was at the time of the incident. I was 14, and I happened to be visiting a friend, and seen the group of guys. While I was sitting out there waiting for him to come out the house, I see the group of guys, coming on the other side of the streets. They was all dressed in black, so you from the neighborhood, so it's never a good thing. So I kind of got into the gangway of where my friend lived. The only person else was out there was a Latino guy that lived next door to my friend who works on cars, and I know him because my friend periodically speak to him when we're over there. So as I'm in the gangway, the guy's working on the car. One of the guys from the group that was across the street that stopped in front of me, one of the guys crossed over and walked up to the Latino and basically put up a small little foot chase and then shot him. So what I didn't know at that time, was that something had previously happened,
Hmm.
and I ain't know nothing about it because I'm not from really over here where the incident took place. But my friend came out the house as well as his brother and his family because they thought it could have been me. I told him it was the guy next door, so he told me, "Hey, go next door and tell his people that he got shot," which I did. Run the bell. The lady looked out the window. I told her, your son been shot, so they ran out, and me and my friend left. But that night I did tell my mom, like, man, while I was over there, I seen somebody get shot. She like, man, anybody see you? I'm like, no, not really. She like, all right, well, man, your business. A couple of days I think went by, and she ended up coming like asking me like, hey, do you know who Marcus is? And I'm like, no. She was like, you familiar? Tell me. I'm like, yeah, familiar with the kid being in the neighborhood. And she was like, well, his mother is walking through the neighborhood saying that they grabbed him last night. Did you see him? I said, no, he wasn't one of the guys that I seen. She was like, okay, well, you want to help his mother? I asked my mom, you want me to? She said, yeah. So I spoke to her and told her what I seen, and she went and got the lawyer, and uh, I became a witness. What I didn't know is that they had already them days had went by, but they had already tortured her son, which was 13-year-old Marcus Wiggins, and the confessing as well as the other 16s that they had with him. So I don't know none of this. I just again tell the lawyer what I seen, that he wasn't there, and that ended up opening up a can of worms because I didn't know that they had already clearly the officers had already had their version of what took place down. And with me coming forward with the help, that ended up contradicting the whole they all just confess thing, So uh the police ended up catching me coming out of my grandmother's house and jumped out, asked me my name. I told them my name. And they said something to the nature of, you keep trying to help somebody, you're gonna end up needing help, or some threat they told me, which is what scared me. So I called the lawyer, who was Julie Hall, and told her like, hey, police just pulled up. I don't want to help nobody. So she ended up going to get up with the judge at the time, was Judge Earl Strayhorn. Told him the story, and Strayhorn issued a protective order. I was 14 again. He issued a protective order saying no police on or about the Alfredo Hernandez cases to have any contact with Sean Tyler. So as that wasn't enough for my mother though. So she was still scared. So she ended up sending me to Wisconsin, and I was up in Wisconsin for a while, coming back and forth, to participate with the case. But once the kid ended up getting sort of off, I guess, that meant there was no more need for me. So I came back to the city. Only 3 years later, the case that I did go to prison for, the police ended up coming. A kid got shot. A gang shooting back and forth. They said a 10-year-old kid got shot. And was going through the neighborhood. Somehow they ended up at our house and told my mother that they wanted to speak with me, just questioned me, and left a card. So when I did come home, she asked me, hey, the other day that shooting, did you have anything to do with it? Was you around? You know anything about it? I told her no. She said, okay, well, this officer want to talk to you. Police station wasn't that far away. I'm 17. I know I didn't do nothing. I knew who I was with. So I went to the police station looking for that cop, So once I went there and I found them, they automatically handcuffed me and put me in a room, told me they wanted to question me, and that ended up leading into me being rushed out the back door of the police station, later for throwing up blood. I had been beaten and beaten until I gave in, until I confessed. So the whole time that they telling me that someone seen me, they put me in a lineup, said I was picked out the lineup, and again, I'm knowing 100% sure that I did nothing, I wasn't there, but they wasn't trying to hear none of that. So to further get me to confess, they end up coming in and showing me a statement, saying that your brother already said that you did it. Your brother already admitted to doing it. And I'm like, my brother, now I'm knowing for a fact, like, but to see his name and to see this, it's like, damn, what did you do to him?
This brother Reggie.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't even know that he was even in the police station. So uh it's just crazy, Like I said, he was next door the whole time going through what he was going through. Uh, I went to the emergency room, told the doctors in the emergency room, they asked me what happened, and I told them, and that he ended up being washed away with Sean threw up blood because he was a asthmatic, and that's what they presented to the courts. They didn't say that I was violated by the officers. They didn't say none of that. They said that I threw up blood because I was an asthmatic, and that's what justified taking me out of the police station on the stretcher. So, but go ahead, bro. You can tell them.
Can I be in
No.
your business, Reggie?
Go ahead, Miss
No,
K.
I was waiting till he ended his story, which bring me to say that when they brought when they brought him my statement, what they didn't know was they had already had me for over a day beating on me, you know what I mean, had me back there beating on me, and you know just thinking back on it, and not trying to get emotional about it, um, just hearing his story and how defenseless we were as children, you know what I mean, and it always get me and chokes me up. But nevertheless, they had me in the room, beat me, torture me, and again for further legal reasons. You know what I mean? We can't go further. But after beating me again, I did the same thing as he did. You know, did what I had to do to get out the situation. And sadly to say, found myself 27 years later being exonerated for something I had absolutely nothing to do. And the sad part about it, I try to get people to look at the fact that like I believe I was the only person that, like, for 27 years I had nobody testify against me or say I was nowhere, had anything to do with nothing. It was just the police. The police who put me there, the police who said everything. It was the police. You know what I mean? Here it is, when they put me in front of the jury, who else could they believe but the police? Especially when you coming out, a young teen coming out, the neighborhoods we come from.
So with the title of the conversation that you guys gave me, done wrong for doing right.
Yes.
What inspired that title?
It's the truth. Like, the world has always fed to parents, not to just do the right thing, but teach a kid to do the right thing. And my mother felt like she was doing the right thing. So to have me, even in the 1991 case, to have me, come forward knowing what could have happened or transpired, she still, hey, do it. Ma, you want me to do it? Yeah. Okay, cool. Two people you fear at that age is God and your mama. So it was gonna happen. She said, do it. So I done it. Then to have you people double back them years later, you had to present yourself to her as a someone who non-threatening. It wasn't a problem. Oh, it's nothing. We just want to talk to Sean, because if she would have thought that you guys were the same officers, if she'd have thought that you guys was going to torture me, I'm quite sure instead of telling me to go to the police station, she would have said, Sean, hand me my purse so we can go to the police station. But knowing at 17, believing what I told her, like, Ma, I had nothing to do with it, which I didn't. I wasn't there. She said, okay, cool. The police station, here's the card, going. And that's what I did. Neither of us thought that. So it all stems back to just doing the right thing. Doing the right thing shouldn't cost no one 25 years. It shouldn't cost my brother 27 years. You know, y'all ask this. This is what y'all preach. This is what y'all promote. And y'all want people to pass it down to your kids. And then you wonder why people are standoffish when it comes to dealing with the system, you know?
Yeah.
And man, y'all didn't know anything about this until like years and being in prison. Uh, when my mother took him away as a kid, I ain't thinking nothing of it. I was just thinking, like, he was gone. Why is he gone? And we're still here. But to find that out in prison, like, man, you know what I mean? My mother telling me, and he's sending me story after story of, how in depth it went, with Marcus Wiggins. Here I am, like baffled in prison, like, man, where do I go? What do I do? You know what I mean? I'm stuck here. So the sad part about it is, do, done wrong is coming from the eyes of my mother. Uh, the doing right part was her believing in the system and knowing that you know if you put right in, you would get right out. But sadly to say, she went to her grave, seeing how opposite that was. So
Wow. And you both have been going around talking to teens and helping adults with their situations and experiences, and you have been helping them with ways to avoid this from happening to them. Can you tell me a little bit about the things that you work with the teens and other adults struggling with this type of situation or something similar?
Well, we are a part of a associated with a program, Chicago Torture Justice Center. So down there, it's mainly, I want to say 90% of guys who have been tortured, wrongfully convicted, and released. So, we all meet there and we're able to get, your own form of therapy. Not to say that it's what you can relate to, because these are the same people in which you grew up with. Because, being out here, people grew up with who they grew up with. The guys that we associate ourselves with came into prison as teens also. So we all grew up together in prison. And now being out of prison, we are the same guys who associate with each other for those reasons of being able to say that he understand when I pour. I understand when he pour. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nobody else probably would understand how him 29 years and him 25 and this guy 36 years, how they talk and what they go through in order to beat him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So those are the guys that we send ourselves around to try to help. I've also spoken, I want to say 23 or 24 times inside of Chicago schools to kids. And it's mainly to get them to understand that age doesn't make you exempt. I tell them about the Marcus Wiggins being 13, me at 14 and 17. So, to get them to understand that, this could be you. So be careful with how you moving, and try to let them understand that bad company kills good character. It doesn't matter if you get 100 A's. If you run it with Ronnie the robber, you'll be considered to be a robber. So be mindful of that. Also make them aware of the accountability law, because you think because you laugh and standing next to the guy that's jumping the guy that you won't be blamed for it, but you will. It can easily be you. So I just try to give them what someone should have given me. The knowledge of knowing that when you do go into the police station, regardless, if you're not three things, I tell them you should say, call my lawyer, call my parents, call my mom, call my dad. Other than that, please, and I mean please, don't try to outsmart the police who is trying to trap you. So that's a lot of what we do with in and out of the community, speaking. My brothers speak, as well as do spoken word at different events to uplift and motivate. So
um so I love speaking about the psychological trauma that comes from situations that we had to endure, and seeing the pathology that's attached to it, and how uh, my mother didn't know the dynamics of what she was going through by growing up in the neighborhood she was growing up in. So that's understanding the psychological dynamics and the trauma that comes behind not only just being wrongfully incarcerated, but again, the neighborhoods we come from and the degradation, everyday degradation that we see. Uh, that's hitting our community. So I speak about the resilience of coming from that community, about my mother succumbing to alcoholism, substance abuse due to our situation, and the neighborhoods we come in, our father as well. So if we can make it through the things we've made it through after so many years, I was that young kid who they took in the 80s and said, hey, you had a learning disability because I was so hyper, and they put me in special ed. And I bear witness to special ed and how it isolated me and took me away from not only my friends but learning. And it took me away from the loving of learning. Uh, and from that, the liking of, sadly to say, other things, subcultural things. I mean, guys with as they say, called mob action. We found ourselves just running together and loving on each other. Cats who didn't go to school, and what I mean. And this was all, sadly to say, subjected through school. You know what I mean? And from that, now I know it was the school to prison pipeline. Uh, so
Is it too personal for me to ask, do you receive therapeutic services now?
I do. Well, I have. She's probably gonna be mad. She's still mad. I haven't been in a while, but I have every so often when I feel personally that no one else around me can help me. I do turn to this lady in the neighborhood who does sit me down and allow me to pour. So I do. And as much as speaking engagement do, sometimes you need somebody acts who ain't afraid to ask the right things, because a lot of people look at it like you just did. Not that you did nothing wrong when you ask, "Oh my God, can I?" Because people don't know just how tender the situation is, so they want to be careful. And should I ask them? Oh, I don't want to. With that, you know what I'm saying. But in reality, you want that. You want somebody to really be like, "Hey, like." When your father passed, how did you take that? You know what I'm saying? Like when
Right.
you got the phone call about your grandmother, like how did
Hmm.
the real stuff? Don't peddle it like it didn't happen and you believe him because I smile a lot that, oh, you okay?
Right.
He did 25 years. He doing real good.
Yeah.
Nah, he got a damn good smile though, but that's it. The smile is masked by so much other stuff that you couldn't control, can't control, but trying to find a way to get it out without allowing it to consume you or damage you, because that is possible. You know what I'm saying? For the person who hangs on, he or she really can become a ticking time bomb,
Well,
you know.
finally, out of a conversation, I wanted to listen a little bit more. So I just felt it was appropriate to get permission before I get all in your business. I'm already in it, but I just wanted to be and use cautionary measures.
Indeed.
As far as questions are concerned, I let you pour and I pour.
There you
That's
go.
how we do
Cool.
it.
And I want you to do
So
that.
I
Ask the
did
tough
want to
stuff.
know. I know you missed out on dreams and lifetime goals. What are some of the things that you missed out on um being able to do because of your age when you were incarcerated? What are some of the things that really bothers you that you missed out on, which was probably everything? Everything.
Go ahead.
uh, man, what's crazy is because it's kind of like a question that goes to me asking my therapy part. Um, my therapy, I'm gonna start there, has been putting into people. Do I have a personal therapist? No. Do I need one? Absolutely. Um, but when I went into 18, I had a 5-month-old daughter, and I came home to a 27-year-old, finna be 28-year-old with 3 grandchildren. Um, so from from that, it was the cause of me not being able or being a part of someone's life who needed me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I understand now. Like, there's so many dynamics to it that I'm still learning. You know what I mean? We two adults who just trying to understand each other. You know what I mean? So it's that's definitely something that was a part of my life that I should have been a part of, and kind of put a dent. You know what I mean? Put a
Because that
dent
was
there.
one of the things that we did not talk about, parenthood.
Yeah,
So now that I know
yeah,
that you are a dad,
yeah.
and Sean, what about you?
Well, one of the things that I mean, it's again, you can't even count the amount of things that was missed out on because the simplest things become the most important things to the incarcerated man. Like people want to believe that everybody sit around all the time in jail and talk about women or talk about, going, man, I done been in some of the most heated discussions all about who in Chicago got the best dipped Italian beef. You understand that?
That would be
So to
shackles.
to be able to have some now and laters when you haven't had them. So to wonder what you miss the smallest of the smallest because it's the biggest to those who can't see it or get it.
Yes.
So it's so to try to find the one thing to miss any of it is wrong. You see what I'm saying? So I can't even begin to say this is anytime you are removed from the things in which you love, things in which help to shape and make you. So we'll do the growth of the teenager to the adult. In that transformation, everybody who's older than me puts a piece into me as I transform. That's how the streets is made. It's when you on the outside, it's balanced like that. You got a sprinkle of TT and Unc and Granny, and everybody shapes you to make you who you are.
Village.
So to go to prison and you're shaping and molded to become strictly what every man here has to put inside of you. There's no softness because there's no softness in jail. So I had just on another subject, I have a conversation with my lady. We was talking one day and she was like, you really don't show enough on the affection side. And I'm under the impression that what I do is enough as far as, hug here. But then I had to think about it like, before prison, that was, my mama loved me, my granny them loved me, but the affection wasn't there. It was just my son. Oh, I love him. Hey, baby. Hey, mama. So to go and have to hide, sort of say hide at 20 for 25 years, you tuck that because there's no one to hug, kiss, or love in prison. So now there's no affection. So here's 17 years matched your 25 years. Now you 42 and you don't really know how to. You see what I'm saying? Because it's never been. That's a part of growing up.
Right.
In order to have that, you have to witness and to be around it, the loving, the hugging, the touching. You have to be that.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's a robbery right there to be robbed of that. You know what I'm saying? Even again, like I said, like he just said, my brother, to not play no part in his daughter life is a robbery. To not be able to play no part in his grandkids' life is a robbery. So what's been lost can never be re-given. And it's so much that's lost that you can't put your hand on it as to what is the biggest because all of it being taken away from you hurt.
Well, it seems as though, like Reggie was just saying, I guess going out and talking with people and helping others that's going through similar situations, that's therapeutic to you. That's your
Absolutely,
therapy. You're
absolutely.
constantly talking about your trauma. You constantly talking about your resolution.
Mhm,
So that right there, it
mhm.
helps. It helps. Just like with crazy conversation, that's therapeutic to me. Even though I still need two therapists, it's still therapeutic that I can have a crazy conversation. And when I'm talking and I'm able to pour into people, that's therapeutic. So I am
Indeed.
so happy that you all are willing to continue to pour into
Right.
people that need that type of encouragement and help, because at that age, that was a lot. That
Right.
was a lot to
You
have
know,
to endure.
uh, one thing. My brother helped me realize this one day. He just said it out the blue, and he was like, "Hey man, did you ever paid attention to because like when we came home, there was a period, and for which we lost like 7 family members within 6 months. And these were literally all the people who were accepting our collect calls in prison. Um, so when that transpired, we were so hurt behind it, thinking like, you know what I mean, why do we have to come home to, you know what I mean? But one day he was like, man, have you ever thought about it? Like, yeah, we lost 60, 70 family members, but in your 27 years and my 25 years, can you imagine how many people we helped? And we got real close friends to this day to tell us like, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to get to our through our bids. And which subsequently had me ask him one day, I'm thinking like, because a lot of our friends tell us, how hilarious we are, funny we are. And I was sitting there thinking one day to myself, like, man, why are we so funny? Like literally like without trying to do it. You know what I mean? And it was an emotional response because I thought about it, and throughout our entire lives we had to
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. We had to keep our mother laughing. And I'm now learning this through comedians that some of the greatest comedians is people who had trauma in their lives. So that's my response to that.
So how was your support system during your time of incarceration? I know you said that you lost abundance of family members and friends. So how did that keep that support system going when you say you lost so many that was major
You know, the
in your support?
the crazy part is, I guess it was that it wasn't until after um like right after we were incarcerated, we lost a dear close cousin who was like a brother to us. And our family ended up moving from the neighborhood we were in. And it wasn't like literally until after 25 years later, or even probably like 20, 22 or 23 years later, that we began to lose people. And we were at the end of our prison terms at that time. And right before coming home, we had lost our father and our grandmother, both of whom were close to us, an uncle. But like the most harmful and the hidden hurt was coming home, and uh, my brother having, I think, like 15 months, and I had 11 months or something like that. But I ended up losing my mother on Mother's Day, um, to a massive heart attack. And I I had administered CPR, and to show you like the crazy part was that she had went and got my grandkids that night, and I didn't know it. Um, so when I popped up to surprise her, because her birthday was that night before, which was the 13th, and went over there to see her, dropped off some flowers and some food, and got a call at 3 in the morning that she was having chest pains. I made it there. She collapsed in my arms, me not knowing that she had went and got my grandchildren when I was minute CPR, and by that time my brother uh, had rushed over there, which was not too long, but I hadn't paid attention because I was so focused on my mother that when I looked up, my grandchildren was on the bed watching me. And when you think about things like this, the trauma that comes behind that's 4 generations of trauma uh, that we've had to endure uh, because of this situation. And You can't tell me that the 3 strokes that my mother suffered wasn't because what she had to endure by thinking about being responsible for having him turn himself in, and us being tortured, and us going through the things that we went through. To hear while in prison, she's going through what she's going through, and us unable to help. We also had 2 younger siblings who we were unfortunately caught the bad end because she had to focus on her older 2 children, and they got the bad end of the back stick. So uh, all this contributed to the first big death of us coming home, which was my mother, and the day of our exoneration, which was 2021, September 17th. We just I got exonerated. My auntie was throwing a surprise dinner, and we were told to meet up at the house. An hour later, we got a call that my older cousin, which I call my sister, had just had a massive stroke and a massive heart attack and died. And like she was just sitting next to us at court, and so from there was just multiple family members, and just going through the psychological trauma, man. Just I can't get enough of saying that, because before we acknowledge that anyone needs help, we first must acknowledge that you know we're walking around here traumatized through not just our personal lives, but through our history, and we must first acknowledge or even find a way to deal with each other and us as a group, psychologically first before we look to do anything. So
So, how would you describe life for you guys after incarceration? How's the adjustment going? The adjustment of being free. You all have had some successful things happen since you all have been released, and that alone is a blessing.
mm,
So, as far as adjusting to life now, how has that been for you both?
It's again, we both gonna have different takes on it. Like I said, he came home to witness everybody tucked in because the corona had just hit. I came home in 2019 and was able to be greeted, and I seen family, and almost that dream come true in which you dream, you know, waiting to come home. So that was a good thing. But the adjustment of watching the dismantlement of so many families is, people, it doesn't have to be you to hurt. People have to understand that, just to see that relationships that you remember to be so solid. The mother loved the kid loved the mother, that everybody was. So to come home and hear people say, "Man, me and my mom ain't spoken in years. I ain't spoken to my brother in years. I don't mess with my cousin over there." We ain't like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, that's kind of society
mm,
now.
Like, that's what I'm saying. So it doesn't have to be just your family for you to feel hurt for others. Like, man, kids who are never really come to understand what it feel like to really have a whole lot of cousins. Y'all never know what it feel like to have a real, big mom, or somebody who overly loves the entire, to show,
Community, the whole
man, it's
family.
man,
Yeah,
somebody
well
who
said.
we
doesn't have
don't
to
have
have
those
nothing,
anymore.
man.
Miss Johnson, who stayed on the
Man,
porch
Yeah,
and
anybody.
didn't care who said what, she would always direct you right back to your house. So
we need to bring big mamas back. We do
hey,
Man,
not have those
we need the
anymore.
village back, the
Uh,
village, period. The
I
whole village need to be,
Yeah, yeah.
man, it's done been tore down. So whenever it's time to rebuild and restructure, it's now. We really need to do that, man. Because what we seeing, I've never been one to shun the youth. So I've been in prison with people who see the youth come through there, and because of what society and the news have portrayed them as, automatically, I ain't saying nothing to them. I ain't got time. They hard headed, and granted they are. You are gonna run across a hard head, guy. But at the same time, he is entitled to, with me, the first introduction of shall we talk again or shall we not?
Right.
So automatically, I'm not gonna just say because of what everybody else say, beat it. No, I'm gonna have a conversation with you, and in my conversation, I'm gonna always look to uplift, inspire, motivate, and encourage you in any way that I can. Anything that'll help you not walk the path in which I've walked, as far as coming down these years as I have, missing out on so much. So I've had that conversation with people, so many in prison, to where to do it out here is even lovelier, because now I have a real group who actually stands a chance, and it's something now, So all of that has been a beautiful thing with coming from prison to here. So to come out, man, and be able to be embraced by those who do recognize that, okay, here is a guy. He's did 25 years. He was tortured. He was this, and but put all that to the side. Here's a guy who don't have no problem with doing what so many have ran away from. A job that so many have took their vests off and said, "It's I quit." You know what I'm saying? When ain't no quitting. No, it ain't going. Everybody ain't gonna get it. But shame on you for not to trying to make sure that someone gets it. No, it's not your job. But if you're a man and that's a child, it's your job. You understand that? If that's a man and it's a child and you're in the presence of it, anything that you can give, you're supposed to. Whether they accept it or not, it's your job to pour. And I always tell myself that. I used to tell myself from a sense of meeting the creator. God gonna say, Sean, you was right there with that boy and you ain't say nothing.
Right.
So I look at it like that. So anytime I'm around anybody, foolishness or not, I say something. I say, God, I said something.
And so
God, I said
were
something.
you all compensated for damages? You rewarded anything after what you went through?
Absolutely not.
Swift.
Am I being in your business?
Nah, we
No,
got a
no,
swift
no.
kick.
That's a good
A
question.
battle,
No.
but that's actually a good question. Let me say this, that so certificate of innocence allows us to be compensated by the state. A lot of people associate the certificate of innocence, saying that these guys want money. These guys, they all about when it comes to monetary value. But I ask anybody to look at the lives that we have to live from 18 to 17 to me getting out of prison at 45 and him getting out of prison at 44 or 43. The things we had to endure. We're not saying that we're trying to steal anything from anybody. We're saying that outside of monetary value, the names that our parents gave us, we just want our names back. We want our lives back. We want to be able to get up in the morning and say, I have the same rights just as anybody else to get up and get in my car, not to be stereotyped, stigmatized, or even pushed to the side. I have the same rights just as anybody to get up in the morning and be me, an American citizen.
So
And
you are looking for your certificate of innocence,
yes, ma'am.
and that would assist with your closure
Yes,
with
ma'am.
this. Because when I did research, and I could be wrong, that's why it's crazy conversation. I thought that, you would be compensated. I saw back in the day they did like 75,000 per year.
But that's I guess that's to come if the state deem it or however they feel. But as of right now, that's a subject we have no idea of, because that's somewhere we're not at. But again, I definitely believe and feel that we deserve to be compensated for the years that we've done. But sadly to say, you know, look at the hills that we continue to battle and fight. You know,
So, can you tell the listeners a little bit about your new vision clothing apparel? and let them know how they can get a hold to you to take advantage of this amazing line.
Yes, you can to find it, you can go to newvision.org, or you can find me on Instagram, newvision underscore, and you can find me on Facebook at Sean Tyler. Get up with me and I'll get it to you.
We got our bag. We got our gift. They brought us
Indeed,
gifts.
indeed,
Me and
indeed.
wifey got gifts. We'll have it on tomorrow.
And
Um,
it's as bad, and I want to get this understood, as bad as all the hands that played a part in making sure that me and my brother went to jail, as bad as they needed it or wanted it to be, uh it just wasn't. God didn't see it that way. So his coverage of me and my brother to protect us, to lead us through 27 and 25 years, because I can assure you, I didn't do it because I was no tough guy, no mobster, no gangster. I did it because I prayed, and the people who love me most prayed for me. And from that, I was delivered. I made it through 25 years in a situation that I shouldn't have been in. I did. But while being in there, what people don't, what I love to highlight about being incarcerated, I continued to go to school. I received a GED. I took all the necessary college classes in which the institutions in which I was in allowed me to take. I fell in love with writing. And in doing so, I was around guys who wrote, who encouraged me to write. And when I did, they encouraged me to put it in a book form. So I wrote 6 books. Although none of them have been published, I do have 6 completed books. 6 completed books that's just waiting to be published. Along with those books came New Vision. I've always loved clothes, so I've seen myself as doing exactly what I'm doing. And when I came home and sold the first T-shirt, I came the person that I told everybody in prison that I wanted to be. So understand that I am blessed. I ain't got the best, and I ain't doing, I ain't doing the numbers that I feel I should be, but I do the work that I'm supposed to do to get what I'm gonna get. See, I put the work in, so I will be rewarded and shall be. So New Vision is my baby. I love it. It's New Vision. No one should ever, he who has a dream should explore it. Don't let no one tell you that you can. And above that, to have any idea that you put into the world that's yours, that you completed, it's your new vision. So take advantage of it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
please give them that website information again.
Newvision.org. You can go on there and find some things. And you can go to, again, on Instagram. I'm at New Vision underscore.
You heard it here on Intellectual Radio. Do you plan on continuing to advocate for others that has been wrongfully accused? Do you continue to advocate for those people and assist
Absolutely.
them?
Absolutely. Until there's no more, until there's no more breath in their lungs, I shall always stand for and stand with those who have been wronged, wrongfully incarcerated. Wrong of any sort should be addressed. And I just told someone this the other day that the situation is like cancer. You know, like no one in your family should have to catch cancer. No one who you love should have to fight cancer for you to say screw cancer. You know, this should just knowing that what it is and what it does and what it represented, those who have took, who have fallen short due to it, should make everyone stand against cancer, what it is. So that's how I look at being wrongfully accused, wrongfully incarcerated. Wrong of that sort should just be exactly what it is. Wrong is wrong, and you should stand for wrong. So no one can ever tell you that adults taking advantage of children in this situation, because excuse me, I'm not the first, me nor my brother is. They've been torturing and taking advantage of minorities, these same group of police, since the 70s. But the fact that you began to leave adults and target children should have been where the line stopped at. So I look not just for Chicago to have a problem, but I want the world to ask, why is it that Chicago is leading for the 5th year in a row for wrongfully imprisoned people? Why is it that last year Chicago, Illinois released 243 people due to wrongfully incarceration? Like, this should be a problem. Why are Chicago taking the money of state taxpayers and putting it behind these same officers who has wronged us? These same officers who have continued and continue to be caught to have been wrong. You taking taxpayer dollars, putting it behind lawyers who fight for them against us. And I'm quite sure if you asked anybody, who, the majority of taxpayers, look, give me your money and I'm gonna buy a lawyer for officer such and such who tortured the kid. No, no. Give me my tax money back. I'm not backing no crooked officer. I'm not backing no wrong officer. I'm not doing none of that. All of that should be understood when dealing with the people. That's a problem. So when I get on these platforms and speak, I'm just not speaking. Again, I want everybody to have a problem with what's wrong. If that's wrong, it's wrong. So don't just say it's wrong in Chicago. Say it's wrong in Cali. Say it's wrong in Alabama, Tennessee, in all these places. The world should say, not for 5 years straight. You ain't never got it wrong 5 years in a row. 5 years. For the fifth year in a row, Chicago is leading the world in wrongful convictions. Illinois.
Wow.
And it
So,
goes. Sorry about
The
oh,
that.
world.
I know that someone that is listening, someone that is watching, they may be going through something similar, or they may know someone. They may not have the courage to send a question in or to call in. So, do you all give out your information to people that need assistance with being wrongfully accused, encouragement, those type of things? Do you give out your information for that? Can they email you? I'm sure that someone else may need
So,
this information.
absolutely. So, as far as my personal number, and any given moment, anytime somebody need help, I'm definitely for it. But as far as my email, I'm willing to give that out. And if you have any questions about anything, I'm willing to assist you with that. And coincidentally, I've created a non-for-profit organization called Therapeutic Expressions. And what we do is we're focused on the history of trauma that comes behind people like not just my brother and I, but people that comes from my community, those who've been wrongfully put in homes, and the homes has become prisons. Any psychological trauma that's associated to the environment for which we come from, I'm looking to address, because again, we can't stop any type of violence, whether it be spousal abuse, domestic violence, killing someone with a gun or whatever it may be. We can't get rid of any of it without first addressing, the psychological trauma that we're experiencing and have experienced as a community, as a people, and individually. So uh, I acknowledge it. Uh, my email is ITIELBEN75 at Gmail. And whatever question you have and however I can assist you, again, I'm here. My brother's here. You want to give me
Yes, I can be reached at New Vision. That is New Vision, NUVISEAN 976 at Gmail. You can reach out to me again. I'm not against coming to speak to whoever for whatever. I'm at schools. I'm speaking at
prisons, bus
churches.
stops?
I'm everywhere. If you need to hear it and I'm willing to tell it, man, I'll share it. And if my situation can help you in any shape, form, or fashion, then I'm a make sure you get it. That's my job, to make sure that if whatever you went through or whatever you're going through, if it's not what I've been through, then you can get through it. Trust me. Trust me on that, man. My mountain compared to your Eminem is nothing, man. So you can get through it and get over it, man. I promise you that.
And I would like to end it on this note. From our trauma and everything that we went through, we become men who is truly making a conscious contribution to the uplifting of humanity.
Well, with that being said, I am so honored and so happy to have you both on Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim And I have to give you a message that just came in. I could not listen to all the messages, but your sister said to please spell out your clothing line so that everybody can understand the new vision. So, can you please spell new vision before we end tonight?
Yes, I can. New Vision, Nuvisean. Again, New Vision, Nuvisean.
Miss Kim.
Almost text my ex, but then sin. Always hitting my shot, but can't win. A jet with no wing, a voice that can't sing. Oh, 13 years without my brother, man. Cause I live with my